Good morning, welcome to Ag Talking Raw, where I talk raw about agriculture and other things that are on my mind. Today we have William with us. He's got his little dinosaur bib on. His mother's in there doing her business, which she does. And I figured I would just read some of these comments that are on the last video that I did, because some of them are kind of funny. Actually, the one comment that the commenter that I really wanted to read, he deleted his thread. He decided that wasn't a good thing to be up there, and it wasn't bad. It was really just, hey, why don't you check your facts? And we could touch on that a little bit here. Checking facts is kind of important when it comes to reporting the news. Well, this is pretty much an opinion channel. You can take me for what I am and leave me for what I was. It's okay. I'm all right with that. But as far as factual information, I try to be as factual as I possibly can. Most of the time, it's how I heard it versus, it's how I heard it is how I report it. Because honestly, I don't take notes. If you've watched this channel for any length of time, which it's been up, actually, this channel has been around for over 2 years. I just never really put anything on it until I announced it. I had a couple of videos up, and then I announced it, and then it just kind of blossomed from there. We are over 10,400 subscribers. Thank you. Hopefully we can get to this point at some point. But, yes, I do enjoy this channel a lot. William does, too, because he gets to hear Daddy talk about nonsense, and it keeps my mouth clean, as long as Mr. William is here to do that. And he likes to puke a lot, so we put a little dinosaur bib on him. Okay, so as far as that comment was on fact-checking, it was on the last video. I was talking about the subsidies going to cities like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles. I didn't actually mean the cities themselves. They went to offices that are actually in those cities. So if you go to the USDA website, which someone so kindly put it on here, and it's really not hard to find. It's USDA subsidy, payouts is basically what it is. And you go there, and you'll see the top numbers. The numbers that were. What are you doing? How much each individual farm got. So there was one in Montana. So Montana is like, well, I think it was Montana. Maybe it was South Dakota. Well, one of those northwestern states, north central western states like Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, in there. And it was Haines, I think. Haines, I think it was the city. Not a very big city, but it was a city nonetheless. And there were different properties that were different farm names, large acreage, different farm names, but it went to the same city. So if you have a 5,000 acre farm in Haines, that's basically the whole damn city. But you have 5,000, 15,000, 3,000, 20,000 acre lots, not all within Haines. They're outside of Haines, but their main office is in Haines, Montana. Montana, I think it was. I don't know. It was one of those states. You'd have to go to the USDA website. So that's basically what I was saying. So you have a group of lawyers that have money to burn, and what they do is they form a farm like Pacific Ag. Pacific Ag is a group of people who decided, hey, there's a market for straw nationwide. Let's form a company that purchases straw from farmers that would normally either chop it onto the field or burn it off, and we will bale that straw and find the markets within those areas, whether it be for pipeline, people that are building pipelines, whether it's for compost for mushrooms, whether it's for bedding for poultry or hogs or cattle. That was their whole thing. They're not farmers. They are not farmers. They are lawyers that may have had a farm background, or their fathers had a farm background, and they just thought it was a good idea to go ahead and do this company. Well, it's just like that for any of them, any of these farms that are getting millions of dollars in subsidies. So just so you understand, someone like me, I don't have a lawyer on the payroll. I don't have a secretary on the payroll that I can say to, hey, I need you to go down to the Farm Service Agency and find out every single little scrap of money that I can get from them, and that is your full-time job. There are grants, there are subsidies, there are programs, there are all kinds of things that you can get this money. I have pride, and I don't really feel like being on farmer welfare, which I know that 90% of the farmers out there that are like me, or farm families, they don't have time to be sitting in an office. But God bless you. But you take someone that is a group, or a, whether it's an investment group, whether it's a group of lawyers, any group, and those are the top recipients for the subsidies that come from the federal government. And they have offices in Los Angeles, California, Chicago, Illinois, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, because let's face it, cotton and peanut farmers, and I don't know if there's a subsidy on tobacco anymore, but there's definitely subsidies on cotton and peanuts, so, and maybe some other southern grown crops. So they have these offices in these cities, and that's where the check is going. So that's what I was saying. So anyway, what are you doing? Choking on your own spit? He's getting ready to have teeth, I think. You want to bite? You can bite my finger. So anyway, all right. So that's where we were going with that one. Oh, Farmall Fanatic, Ag Talking and Raw, where I talk about agriculture and other things that are on my mind. Would you believe I'm here for the other things? Yeah, I actually would believe that. I don't know why I would believe that, but coming from you, I could believe that. Yeah, I farm and work full-time job, but people on welfare eat better than I do. I've heard that. I've seen that. Actually know some people that are on welfare, and they've got a newer vehicle than me. Wow. My truck's a 2010, by the way. I choose to drive it. I could go buy a new one, I guess, and just every month pay that $550 bill, which I don't feel like doing. My insurance would go up, too. Yes, that's orange juice, by the way. I know two people that are on disability, work accidents, claiming back injuries. What did they do with their checks? They bought a pair. Yes, a pair of Harley Davidsons, and traveled the country on them. I've had spinal cord surgery and work every day with pain. I sold my motorcycle because my back can't take the ride anymore than 20 miles. But they are in our pockets for the better part of 20 years so far. Okay, 20 years. A pair of Harley Davidsons driving around the country with back injuries or injuries that prevent them from working. The worst thing to ride is a motorcycle when you have a back injury. Trust me. They cause back injuries too. You got like a hardtail or something. Hardtail Classics or Softail Classics are still rough, I know for certain if you have back problems, motorcycles will kill you with pain. Right. I can run a bulldozer on a rock pile for 10 hours a day, but can't handle a motorcycle 50 miles without my back killing me. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's a seating position with some of those. Quick Google search threw up, as of 2008, less than 2% of the population is directly employed in agriculture. In 2012, there were 3.2 million farmers, ranchers, and agricultural managers, and an estimated 759,900 agricultural workers were legally employed in the U.S. So based on that, $9 billion, $3,200,000 would be $2,812.50, but that's a pretty skewed because there's the elite bunch that get way more money. All right, well, that's true. When I was doing my little math thing, you're going to hit your head on that thing, little man. When I was doing my math, I was doing it as though we were all created equally, which we are not all created equally. The government tells us that we're not. So anybody that says, oh, well, you get X number of dollars every year from the government, that number doesn't apply to everyone. Like our Wyoming Life, if you go to his channel, he did a really, really good job about explaining the farm subsidy. So if you're interested, our Wyoming Life, go over there and check him out. William, that was the biggest fart I've ever felt come from your little butt. and it's still going. Do you hear that? Holy cow, William. Are you okay? I don't know if the microphone picked that up, but if it did, he's proud. What do you think? You proud of that one? I'm proud of that one. Because if we could gross your mother out, that would be awesome. Yeah. Yeah, so go to Our Wyoming Life. Check him out. He does a good job with his videos. Ooh, and then a burp to boot. Is that like, booby milk? Look, there you are. I see you. Ever seen us? Nah, that's not good. So anyways, I'm being called a racist by a certain individual. CC is his call sign. And he just calls me a racist every day. He says, Racist Wesley. I find it rather funny. Yeah, I'm not racist. I told a story on my other channel, and it got people all upset. Not really, just that person all upset. A story is a story. It doesn't reflect on how I feel about other people. I hate everyone equally. So, it doesn't matter. Look at this little man. So, yeah, you're so handsome. Drug companies spend a lot on ads. That's correct. You can go downstairs. Well, you can go down to your television set, turn it on, or even YouTube. Try Cialis. Try, Ripitor and Lipitor and other drugs. And then you hear the side effects and you wonder, who in their bleepity bleep bleep right mind would ever take that drug? Because the cure is worse, or the cure is worse than the disease. And my father is calling me. Let's take this. Hold on. Hello. Morning. Yep, he told me. Yep. I know. Gotta pull tarps off. We'll do that now. Yes, I got a poopy boy. He's pooping. Making chocolate pudding pops, are you? Febreze filled underwear? No. Anyway. Alright. Not much. It wasn't heavy. No. Yeah. But he was pretty flat, so it was fine. Yep. Anyway. He didn't go in there, but yeah, he was there. No, I don't blame him. They were fine. Yep. Yep. Same door. I'm not doing that again. We're not doing that again. I don't want to. I'll have to. If I have to, I will, but I don't want to do that again. So, but anyway. Yeah. Anyhow, I'm going to finish my thing here and get William, you done pooping. And that's that. You super pooper. Super baby. Fill it up. Don't waste diapers. Alright. Yep, bye. No wasting diapers. So, anyways, my brother-in-law died. I don't know if you watched the other channel yet or not, but my sister that died of cancer, her husband died of ALS. My nephew Cody has just lost both of his parents within 4 years, or within 5 years. My sister died in 2014, and my brother-in-law died yesterday morning. I don't really want to get into it because it's a sore spot in my heart. So, anyway, yes, we were talking about marijuana on this channel here, and yeah, drug awareness and resistance education is what DARE, DARE stands for, and DARE in New Jersey has taken, or DARE nationwide has taken marijuana off the list of gateway drugs, which I find to be an absolute crime, which, just kind of props up the fact that money will do anything you want it to if you've got enough of it. It's just the way that is. All right. It's Sunday, doors are locked. His brain isn't there today, I guess. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean, but I subscribe to the Ohio-based paper Farm and Dairy. There's a nationally syndicated columnist, Alan Gubert, which is a libtard that writes weekly articles for the paper. No matter what is said or done about the Farm Bill, he is never satisfied, especially with Donald Trump and the Republicans. In my opinion, he is out of touch with the farmers in rural America. I'm so fed up with this paper, I might not resubscribe because even their own staff is anti-Trump. Well, the reason everybody's against Donald Trump is because Donald Trump is not part of the political party. He's a businessman that ran for president, and by some happenstance, he won. I think he's doing an okay job. There's some things that he is a little weak on, like that wall. He should have had that funding passed long before the Democrats took the House. And that's just like the main thing. He should have also had voter identification cards done. I mean, he could have done that with executive order, even though it should have went through Congress. But Congress should have passed it with flying colors. Like, hey, you know what? Our system is so, finite that it shouldn't be tampered with, and by allowing illegals or people to actually vote multiple times, a state-issued or a federal government-issued, like a Social Security card, well, fuck, you could even use, excuse my language, you could even use a Social Security card. Not that I would want my Social Security card being flung around, but you could use that same Social Security card, so when you go into the voting booth, you have to slide that bad boy in there. It scans, say, a barcode, voter ID. A barcode which goes into the national database identifies you as an individual, and then it can only be issued by the federal government. And when you pay taxes, and then you put that, when you pay your income taxes, you put it in there, and bada bing, bada boom, you get to vote. You can't vote again. That's it. Done. If you're an illegal alien, you have illegal status, you can't vote. You're not supposed to vote. It's not the way that works. I mean, it hasn't been really that long that they've allowed women to vote. Now, why is it that illegals have rights? If you're illegal, you go to jail or get out. I could get started on that one, right, William? We could really get going. Yeah. Okay. But those are the things that I feel that he's weak on. He really needs to get his head together. But yeah. All right. Feed bags used to be made of burlap. Now they are made of plastic. Burlap, baling twine, and rope was made of hemp. Not anymore. Yes. Well, you can still get burlap. You can, but it comes out of South America. But now, if they're going to allow hemp to be grown in the United States, since 1933, that's fine. Use the seed for oil and the fiber for whatever. What are you doing? Look at this little guy. I'm going to steal his nose. Look, I got it. Do I got your nose? I get your ear, too. It's so much fun having a little baby. Okay, you got up in a hurry this morning, Wes. Looks like your t-shirt's inside out. No, it's not inside. It wasn't inside out. That's actually a really nice t-shirt. That shirt is an American Apparel made in Los Angeles, California. By Americans, they say. First rule of YouTube, never do math on camera. That is true. Yes. Hey, Wes, Simple-Minded or the Slaves of America do not get most of the common sense smart-ass videos, but I enjoy them. Yeah, I mean, I can be a real smart-ass, you're right. But it's all for fun, right? We got to have fun in this world. Hey, Teresa, are you done doing your thing? Because Mr. Williams about done doing his thing. He likes to stand, but he hates being on his belly. AgWeb partially broke down payments of the Farm Bill. They're never going to break it down into its final form because the thing is over 1,000 pages long. Even if you started to read it, you'd forget what it said at the beginning of it and by the time you got to the end of it. But in the reality is, it should not be called the U.S. Farm Bill. We should all write our U.S. senators and say, hey, please take the word farm out of the U.S. Farm Bill. You make it the food and, the food and welfare bill. That'll work. Because if farmers are in there, in the little small sliver that we are in there, that 1% that we are in there, then it should not be called the Farm Bill. It should be called the Welfare Food Stamp Bill. food and welfare bill. Because, hey, babe, this little guy's had enough of me. Oh, wow. And you got a squeak going on. What do you got in there? Yeah, he's like ready to do his thing. There's Mommy. Hey, Mommy. He's like, oh, milk jugs. Anyway. Can I have some milk? Oh, get rid of all government kickbacks and you will see what farms can make it without it. And what ones can. And I think you would see a lot of farms go under. Well, no. You're wrong. You're wrong on that one, because the pennies that most farms get from the United States Farm Bill, you couldn't buy 3 months groceries with. You couldn't buy 2 months groceries with. You know, I had $800 on over 2,500 acres when I was in the Farm Service Agency, when I was going in there and signing up all this stuff. I even had oil base on sunflowers and soybeans, sunflowers, soybeans, and corn. I still had base on that, and I got $800. It's like, you know what? I have better things to do for $800. For Christ's sakes, I could go bale a couple of loads of hay and make $800. You know, little bales. You know, the little idiot blocks that people like. Anyway. The other day I was behind a kid. He bought energy drinks with a food stamp card and then had enough cash to buy 2 packs of smokes, and it pisses me off. Yeah, years ago you weren't allowed to buy cigarettes and dog food, pet food, but now it's a credit card. They don't care what you buy with them. They don't. They just don't. I've seen it too, and I know they don't care. It's just money. And anymore, money isn't really money anyway. Money are just numbers. Yeah, we get some bills, some paper money to play with, but for the most part, they're just numbers. And as long as your numbers are in the plus, who cares? Who cares? They're just numbers. And when you have a piece of plastic, that you can, this is my Home Depot card, but you take that and you go, and then at the beginning of the next month, boom, it gets refreshed. Yay! You swipe it again. So, what is it? It's just free. It's free. And that's why Venezuela is where it's at. Anyway, you should take a poll on how many of your viewers are actually farmers. That would be pretty good. All right, let's do this. We can do this. If you're a farmer, hit the thumbs up. If you're a non-farmer, hit the thumbs down on this video. And that'll give us a pretty good idea as to how many farmers versus non-farmers there are. And that'll be pretty accurate, I think. I mean, unless you really dislike the videos that I do, and then just hit the thumbs down anyway, and I'll count you as a non-farmer because you just don't understand. And it's okay. We'll be okay with that. Yeah. And there's a lot of math running around here. I don't know what is right. $138,000 per farmer, over $6.5 million. I don't know. It seems about right. $138,000. I've never gotten $138,000. If you look up my name on that USDA website, you'll see somewhere around $200,000. I think around $200,000 has been allocated to me from 1994, 3 or 4 when I started actually reporting my acreage. I started farming when I got out of high school in 91. That's when I started, deriving my own living from agriculture. Wasn't much of a living, but it was a living at that time. But if you look at that, that does not directly reflect what I had at that time. Now, they have broken it down a little differently on the USDA website, so you do know what was a loan, what was a buy-up, what was a DCP payment or direct and counter-cyclical payments and things like that. So they've broken that up a little bit more, so maybe it does say that on my name. I don't really know. But yeah, it is kind of disheartening. I just really think that they should take that food and welfare bill and call it just what it is and leave the farmers out of it. Farmers have been the punching bags of America for, many, many years. I would say since the 1950s. There were some very good programs in the 50s and 60s and even into the early 70s, from what I understand, on soil building from the government. There were programs to utilize limestone to build your soils up, and some other things, erosion control, monies, which still may be available, but they're just, it's overshadowed by, just a shadow of what it was, its former self. Yes, there are farmers that go down to the Farm Service Agency or the NRCS, and they go into these programs and then do the work themselves, and then they get paid a union wage, which I am okay with. If there's a program out there and you have to pay 80% of it, and then let's say they pay 80%, you pay 20%, but you have this opportunity to do the work yourselves. So if you've got bulldozers, or if you want to rent a bulldozer or a backhoe and you do this erosion control stuff, and you get it all, you do the work yourself, and the government says, in the Farm Service Agency or the NRCS says, oh, okay, work is completed. Here's a check for the 80% of the total bill. So it takes they have it all kind of figured out, how much time it will take, how much it will cost in your billable hours, and there you go. I do have some neighbors that did the work, and yes, they did make some money on it. So what's the difference? What's the difference if I went into the farm program and say I wanted fencing? Just use fencing, because that's what most of these knuckleheads do. You go and you get fencing, and it's like 80%. They pay for 80%. You got 20%, and if you paid the union wage to do this for somebody else to do it, then you paid 20% of that total bill, which could be a staggering number. But if you're able-bodied and you have the equipment to do the job, and you go out and you do it, why not? Somebody else is going to be getting paid to do it, so why not you get paid, or maybe your kids or whatnot? Look at that pretty girl. Yeah. So that's just what it is. Ah, man. In Michigan, we have seatbelt laws. I think it's stupid to force me to wear them. I'm forced to wear seatbelts, but people riding on motorcycles don't have to wear a helmet. Again, here you go. So there's a lot of motorcycles out there, and it's lobbyists. You can lobby that a seatbelt law is unconstitutional because it takes away your freedom of choice, which it does. And, if you don't put your seatbelt on and you get fined more than once for that seatbelt thing, it becomes points on your insurance and all that other happy horse shit. So as far as a helmet law, put your fucking helmet on. It's your head, but it should be your choice. It's the same thing with a seatbelt. Put your seatbelt on. It's a safety thing. If you have children or whatever and you want to be around for a while, just put your seatbelt on. I've never said don't do these things. I've just said that it should be the freedom of choice to do these things. As an American, we should have the choice to either wear our seatbelt or not. The government shouldn't fine us for these things. It doesn't hurt anybody but ourselves if we get ejected from our vehicle. If we're going down the road on a motorcycle and we fall off and hit our head,
Shut up.
We hit our head and crack it open, who died? I did. My choice not to wear the helmet, my choice to die on my motorcycle in the event of an accident. So, yeah, why should I be fined if I choose not to do that? It is just to piss more money down a rat hole. Same thing with legalizing marijuana. They legalize marijuana, they're going about it all wrong. If it was going about allowing people to have the freedom of choice to smoke marijuana if they want to, that's their business. It's not my business to tell my neighbor that he or she cannot smoke marijuana. It isn't. It's their employer's business. I mean, if you show up to work and they have a surprise piss test, and it's like, but the government says it's legal. Well, it may be legal in the government's eyes to smoke dope, but your employer should, doesn't have to have you as an employee after that. And a lot of people think that, once they make it legal, I can do whatever I want, which isn't true. But if the government wanted to make marijuana legal, they shouldn't be profiting from it. And that's what they're doing. They are only making it legal to generate tax money. And I don't agree with these taxes. I don't agree with any of that stuff. Because you know what happens? It's like a kid that is allowed to have 4 pieces of candy a day. And then, mom and dad get a divorce. And the one parent says, you've only ever been allowed 4 pieces of candy a day. But the other parent wants to get spiteful and say, you can have 10 pieces of candy a day. So you go and you get the 4 pieces a day. Then you go to the other one, you get 10 pieces, and then you go back to the other parent, and the parent's like, well, you can't have 10 pieces, you can only have 4. Yeah, but I'm allowed to have 10 pieces over there. The government's the same freaking way. You give them $1, they want 10. You give them 10, it turns into 100. And they're not doing anything productive. There's no production in the government. They just regulate and regulate and regulate. And then when they run out of that dollar, they need 2, 4, 5, 10. They just piss it down another rat hole until they need more. They're like this greedy little bastard that wants all that candy. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. That's the government. So we're going to legalize marijuana, and the government's going to tax it. They're going to get millions and millions of dollars. And are they going to lower my property taxes? Fuck no. Are they going to lower my income taxes? Fuck no. Are people going to be high and stupid? Fuck yeah. And who's going to get the money? The government. All right. So to go about this right, you say, all right, we're gonna make it so that if you have some marijuana on you, a small amount, a reasonable amount of marijuana, that's okay. You get pulled over by the cops, and they say, do you have any marijuana on you? You say, yeah. How much you got? Just, well, I got a gram or 2, or whatever the hell it is. I don't know, a pound. If they had a pound of marijuana, that could be for distribution. I don't know. You're allowed to grow it in your house or at your house, and you're allowed to smoke it at your house. But if you get caught driving while intoxicated or high, or if you get caught transporting any more than what you would smoke at your buddy's house, then you're breaking the law. But the government shouldn't be taxing this thing. If you have cancer or any other type of ailment that marijuana could give relief to, I'm okay with that. But to just smoke it because you want to, and then think that you're not gonna, that there's no consequences for that, well, that's wrong. You wouldn't show up to work drunk, would you? I mean, it's legal to go to the liquor store and buy alcohol, bring it home in your car, drink it at your house, or go to the bar and have someone bring you home. That's legal. But would you drive down the road drinking or smoking pot? No, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. And if you show up to work and there's alcohol in your system and they catch you, you're fired. Same thing with marijuana. So if you're thinking that this legalization is going to give you some elated sense of, I can do this because I'm a free American and I can do what I want, well, you're wrong. Unless you're self-employed and, you're doing computer work and you want to sit in your house and smoke pot all day because you feel like it will, give you some creativity, well, go for it, That's your business. You're the boss. You do what you want. But if you come to my place and I give you a surprise drug test or a piss test and you come up positive for THC, you're going home. You ain't coming back. That's it. And that's the way they should all be. Blah, blah, blah. So here we go. Wes, I watch every episode, but you're 100% wrong on law enforcement vehicles. I drive one every day and can explain what I do. Can explain what I do if you want to give me a call sometime. Come to South Dakota and do a ride-along. I would love that. Keep up the good work. I would love that. Longstreet Farms. Hey, in New Jersey, the state police have brightly colored. They're white. They have blue and yellow. And on the doors, you can see them. If you get pulled over by a plain wrapper or an unmarked, they will call in a regular marked state trooper, and they will give you the summons or whatever if you're being a total idiot. You can drive by an unmarked, and they very rarely will do anything about it. But if you're being a total douchebag, then they will definitely pull your ass over, wait for a marked car, and they will take care of you. But the local and town cops, there's you see a plain car, whether it's a white car or a black car, truck or whatever it is, and then down the side is one or two shades difference either way. The lettering that says police, law enforcement to rape and destroy, to serve and protect, that is all put in like one or two shades difference. You do not know that it's a police officer, and that's entrapment. That is considered entrapment, unfair advantage and entrapment, and that's one of the things that really bugged the hell out of me. But, Longstrat Farm, if I'm ever in South Dakota, I'll announce that I'm on my way to South Dakota, and I would love to do a ride along. I think that would be cool as hell. I just do, because there are good police officers in this world, and I honestly think that the towns and municipalities around the country that do this shady car deal and entrap and unfair advantage stuff, they really need to be held accountable for that. So, yeah, there you go. You like the idea of all right, Mike O'Sullivan? Yeah, I like the idea of a cage in a C-130. Yeah, I do too. I think that would be more terrifying to these people than the jump over the wall. You take them to, almost oxygen levels, like 18,000 feet, where it's like, and then you put a time delay on the parachute so it doesn't open until you get about 1,500 feet. They're going to be falling like the capsule, the space capsule, yeah, for, 17,000 feet, 16,500 feet, just straight free fall in a cage. I think that would stop them. I really do. I think just the thought of that, because what if the parachute doesn't open? You could have a barometric switch, so when you get to a certain pressure, it just fires off the parachutes. Like I said, I'm an evil bastard. I'm sorry. Okay, all right. About 80% of the farm bill is for SNAP. Yeah, SNAP is food stamps. Yeah. Over the years, the socialists have added an ever-increasing number of things you can buy with SNAP cash. For instance, you can eat at Taco Bell and other fast food places. I wouldn't go as far as to say these folks are lazy. Sadly, many people know how the system works, and they are taking advantage of it. I know for certain there is an extensive underground system for bartering to trade SNAP benefits for non-SNAP items. We are talking 30 to 40 million people here. I think think about where does this end? I don't think there is an end to it. If you ended the program, all right, let's put it this way. Before they did the welfare back in 1960, God knows what, I think it was 62, welfare was enacted, I think. Don't quote me. I saw it somewhere a long time ago, but I think it was 62. So they do this welfare thing. Before welfare, there were charities, and there still are charities, Catholic charities and things like that, and they were set up for people that were in need. And, they did quite well for many, 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 many eons, many years, different donations for homeless people, and there's still homeless people. It's not like this stopped it. It just continues to go. People are still homeless. People still go hungry. People still, do drugs, and they still do whatever it is that they do. So the government really didn't do anything to help. The charities that were working, they still hand money out, still hand clothing and get you into cheap housing. Government housing is not an incentive to work. That's just an incentive to get government housing. We had what the hell was that thing called? It was, COA, the Coalition for Affordable Housing, which if you built a house in New Jersey, you actually had to put a percentage of the money that you spent to build this house had to go to the government, the state government, so that they could build houses for people that don't work. Which, hey, we all have to have a roof over our head, but the level of comfort doesn't need to be better than my house, the house that I have here, that I that I worked so hard for. It should be a Quonset hut with a cot and an old Coleman stove to cook on. That SNAP card should only be used at food banks, not your local whatever, ShopRite, Food Lion, or any of that stuff. I mean, they have food banks here. We have Norwest-Cap. So if you're getting a SNAP card, you should only be able to redeem those at government food stores. Because, hey, let's face it, like this Patty Crisafulli said, that these SNAP cards, there's a whole black market for, trading SNAP cards for different things. So, I mean, simple stuff like that. Like, oh, okay, we'll give you a Quonset hut to live in. You got 9 months to make a decision, whether you're going to be on welfare for 9 months or you're going to get an education, whether it be at a community college or whatever, and re-educate yourself so you can get out of our Quonset hut, make room for the next person that wants to be re-educated, and then you can move on from there. If you decide you're going to be on welfare, you have a maximum of 9 months to find another job or find family members or whatever it is, and then you got to get out anyway. But if you go to school and you re-educate, whether it be a technical college, which could be paid for by the SNAP or the welfare, you could take that money and get education for it so that we don't have to have this burden anymore. But once you use up your 9 months and you haven't enrolled in a program to become educated, you're out. You don't get it anymore. I mean, that's just my thoughts. And it will prevent career welfare recipients or generational welfare recipients. There's a lot of people here, not a lot, but there's a few people here that are second, third, fourth generation welfare recipients. They have no desire to do anything in their lives because why should we? This is the way my parents lived. This is the way their parents lived. This is the way I'm going to live, and this is the way my children are going to live because the government will do this. Now, it's not much money. Don't get me wrong, but like Patty Crisafulli said, that there's ways around this. There's ways you don't have to work at a job that pays you on the books. You can go, I don't know, day labor it for $100 a day. Pick up a $1,500 a month SNAP card, and your wife or girlfriend, she can pick up a $1,500 a month SNAP card. You can get Social Security for your kids if one of them decides that they fell down the stairs, broke their big toe, and yet now collects disability. There's a whole way around to make a decent living off of us, tax-paying people. So, yeah, it can be really, really difficult. It needs to be more difficult. It shouldn't be so easy to just get this money. And I'm sure the bleeding hearts that are out there, well, I got injured at work and now I'm on this. That is what it is for. Disability is for you. Unless you're buying a pair of Harley Davidsons and touring around the country because you broke your leg and, you decided that, I'm 55 years old, fuck it, I ain't going to work anymore. I'll just collect disability for the rest of my life. Then that shit don't happen for me. I think it's ridiculous. Yep. Live math. Yeah, live math is kind of funny. Mr. Entertainment. I could be. On marijuana, I would do it like Germany. Don't make it legal, but for the law, this is, 10 grams or less. 10 grams sounds like an awful lot. You won't face any charges, but the officer confiscates it, goes back to his precinct, and smokes it. Throws it away. Done deal. You could do that in Germany. Luminant Solar Energy LLC. Yeah. I figured it out. The last farm bill, I was involved in an argument with a friend who was convinced farmers were getting rich from the government. So I figured the annual number into just average bushels of wheat produced in the U.S. each year. It came out to 50 cents a bushel on wheat alone. Then spread out amongst corn, beans, and whatever else. After I figured it, I then explained how most of it went to general welfare rather than to the farmers. At that point, he went and did his own research. Now he doesn't complain about it. Yeah, it takes, people just say, oh, the farm bill, I misspoke last time. It was not $867 billion over the next, I believe it's 5 years. I don't think it's 10. I think it's 5 years. And that pen made my hand dirty. So it's a lot. That's a lot of friggin' money. 2.5 million farmers, and that's bullshit. They all demonetize your video. I watched it, and it was on point. Yeah, they demonetize everything. I like the steak recipe. Try it. It's really good. My calculator says 315,000. Our calculators are all broke because I don't know what the actual number is. People come up with these numbers and it's like, well, this, and this. One is like $1,300. Another is like $2,300. Another is 130. Yeah, 13,800. Another 138,000. It's just, woohoo. Yep. Anyway. Wait a minute. My wife works at CVS, and people come in there all the time and buy what they can with their welfare cards. Then they turn around and buy what doesn't qualify and pay with $100 bills. One time, someone used a welfare card and drove off in a new Audi. Yeah, I don't think that the welfare cards, I don't think that there is any more restrictions on those cards. When it was stamps, it was different. But they haven't used stamps now for quite some time. I have a drought or... Okay, here's one. This one here is definitely worth reading. Rusty Sims. You have a drought or flood. If you don't have insurance, you are out of business. In '06, if we did not have insurance, we out of business. They paid us $500,000 for the drought. So I asked them a simple question, and I got a simple answer, which is fine. It's like $40,000, my part a year. In the Midwest, no insurance, no bank will touch you. That is a fact. I have one farm, pays the premium, got to know how to play the game to your benefit. Okay, so this guy's paying $40,000 a year in his crop insurance program. So I asked him, I said, okay, how many years did you faithfully pay your premium, and what was the total of that premium over the many years you paid into it? And he's like, $40,000 for my part. For $40,000 a year, every year, for 15 years. It says for 15 years. And so he actually lost $100,000 after they bailed you out. Math is a bitch. So he pays faithfully for 15 years, $40,000 a year. In '06, they gave him $500,000. But in essence, it cost him $100,000 to get $500,000 back. Where's the math in that? He could have had another farm, He could have had $600,000. He could have bought another farm. And then in '06, if there was a drought that he needed to be bailed out of, he could have either leased that farm off to pay his bills. And in '06, they were probably paying pretty good money by that time. He could have leased it out, or he could have sold it outright and just, whatever, been on his way and still been money ahead. So the only ones that made money in that were people that wear a suit and tie and tell you that they're there to help. We're the government. We're here to help. That is not true. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Oh, there's more math. 138,000. Yep. Okay, so I guess we're done there. Oh, wait a minute. Here's what I was looking for. Okay. I'm going to read this one, and this will be the last one because we'll be at 50 minutes. All right. Here we go. This is the last. This was 3 days ago, and this was the last. Oh, my mouse batteries are low. Generally, I listen to your rants knowing it's your opinion based on your experience, and I can accept you can say whatever you want, but there is a loss of credibility when you don't state where your information comes from, especially in today's easily accessible technology. And then he posts the link to the USDA website. Okay? And he says, and nowhere could I find that Los Angeles and New York was the highest paid. Again, I didn't mean it that New York, the city, or Los Angeles, the city, owned farms. What I meant was there are offices on the farms that are the highest paid have offices in those cities. So I wrote back to him real quick. I says, you're going to make me hunt this down? And let's see. You're going to make me hunt this down. Okay, so take this one step further and look up the top recipients of the subsidies and find out where their offices are. You will be quite surprised to see that the partnerships that are listed in large corporations have offices in the cities I stated in my video. And that's what I said at the beginning of this video. Victor Gibson K, One Lonely Farmer Day. I don't know. And then this Math DJ 01, which, I thought that I was pretty reasonable in what I said. And I really was hoping that you would respond again to what I had written to you, because it is truthful. It is the fact. You just needed to understand what I said and just type in that farm name. It'll tell you. And it actually tells you on the USDA website where the money went. It didn't say New York City got it. It didn't say Los Angeles got it or Chicago. It just said that those farms and then the cities were listed there at the bottom. I mean, one farm in like from 2013 till now got over $6 million. $6 million. Crazy. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to read this now, and I hope people that are listening do not take too much offense to this, because it's the truth as I see it. In my response. But in my line of work, the burden of truth is on the presenter. Correct. And I don't think I misrepresented what I said. You just misunderstood what I said. But since you did state to look further, I will. If you agree to share what you find, where you find your information with your audience, so the audience can see the evidence that make their own conclusions. It's on your website. You posted the link up there. If you look to the right, it will say right in there the cities that those offices were in. Okay. Evidence, and they can make their own conclusion. Another point to this, you have offered ideas to younger people in what they can do to become farmers. Correct, I have. If a young man or woman comes to me and says, hey, I really want to be a farmer, what do you think I could do to become a farmer? Okay. I tell everybody this. I said, find yourself a farmer that is looking for help, volunteer some time, unload some hay, get into it a little bit, figure it out. They'll tell you, if you befriend a farmer, they'll tell you more than what you ever even you could ever ask them. They will tell you what is good about it and what is bad about it. And that is my job here on this channel, is to say it's a great life. It really is. I mean, what time is it? It's 9:30 in the morning. I should be at the farm doing something, but I have the choice to be here making videos for you guys. So, okay. I feel the Ag Talk and the Raw commentary points a farmer's career is riddled with corruption and greed. Correct. It actually is. If you are to get into farming, you will find out very quickly the minute you go and approach a property owner where there is a farmer already farming it, that you're going to be met with opposition, whether it is, good. It isn't going to be bad. It ain't going to be good. It's going to be bad. You then become the asshole. And that's why I tell everybody, please just go see a farmer. If you meet a farmer and you want to help the farmer out and say, hey, I really want to get into this. Is there any way you can help me out? He's going to give you a piece of ground. They do. We're pretty generous. Like, well, there's a piece of ground over here that you can cut your teeth on. It ain't the greatest ground, but I'll help you. You can use my equipment to get it going, and therefore you don't have to have a big investment, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But if you go and work for that farmer and then start knocking on property owners' doors, believe me, this has happened to me in the past with people that I hired to work with me. They just wanted to be farmers, and they wanted to take the land because they knew the ground. They wanted to take the ground that I was farming away from me because, well, I could do better than him anyway. And I heard that. Property owners like, hey, that guy that was working for you, he stopped in here after, a couple days ago, and they called me. I'm like, yeah, he's trying to rent the ground away from me because he knows that you weren't paying any rent on it, and he was going to offer money. What do you think about that? It's like, I think you can do what you want with your land. I says, but you'll be calling me when he's done making a mess of your property. Okay, this communication platform allows you to good things for the next generation. Why not focus on efforts to show the younger how to be successful and leave the negativity behind? All right. There's a reason for that. If everything is rainbows and unicorns, like you wake up in the morning and the sun's always shining, you can go out and you can, do whatever you want. Nothing can go wrong. At the end of the week, it's Saturday afternoon, it's 5 o'clock and you're like, I take Sundays off and I'm not going to do anything till Monday. And you get an inch of rain every Sunday. That's just this off the charts way of thinking that farming will be easy. Life will be easy. Farming is not easy. Just so you know, Math DJ 01, farming is not easy. You get thrown a curveball every other toss. And it doesn't matter whether it's an equipment, whether it's a property owner, whether it's a seed dealer or a fertilizer company. They can throw you curveballs. You can wake up one morning and your brother-in-law dies. And then that screws you all up, or your sister dies, or your mother dies, or your father dies, and then you got to deal with that on top of everything. You can't life doesn't stop. So if I was just to say, hey kids, this is great, go down to the John Deere dealer, they're giving away tractors. Or, hey, you're right out of high school. You can go down and get the latest, the greatest technology. Go out there and grow a 300 bushel to the acre crop. There's no deer. There's no hail. There's no thunderstorms. There's no hurricanes. There's no twisters. There's no wildlife that can eat you out of house and home. Oh, and equipment never breaks. It just never does. So that's why this channel is what it is. If there's a youngster that's watching this and he wants to get into farming, at least I'm telling him him or her the truth, that it isn't easy. The government isn't your friend. The government is definitely not your friend. Farm credit is not your friend. They will bury you so deep in money that you can spend it all and then have no way of paying it back. And then they do like, thank you. Take it all back, leave you for broke. There you go. You have to be smart. And without an education on how the pitfalls of farming are, you will go into it like nothing can get you down. And guess what? There's more against you in this business than there is for you in this business. It takes a tough motherfucker to do this job. That's probably why you don't farm. Yeah, maybe you do farm. You might be one of those guys that's in Los Angeles, California, sitting in an office pushing buttons so that you can get that $6 million check from the U.S. government. I don't know. But anyways, let me read some more here. It says, why not focus all your efforts to show the youngsters how to become successful and leave the negativity behind? I think I covered that. Personally, I like Millennial Farmer. Well, I do too. How farms work, because they act and present the farming life. To me, you're the opposite. You are not going to see the worst of the worst on those channels. You're going to see cause and effects in a positive light. Unfortunately, and I know these guys watch this channel, and I appreciate them, and I respect them, but their style of filming and their way they present themselves and their farm is that very little ever goes wrong. When the facts of the matter, maybe nothing does go wrong. I don't know. It's not their farm. Maybe I'm just this stroke of bad luck whenever I get up in the morning and I go to the farm and a piece of equipment breaks. I don't know. Maybe I'm just this anomaly of bad luck. I have no clue. But I can tell you, any farm that I've ever personally been around, it doesn't matter whether that tractor's red, blue, green, yellow. They all fucking break. They all break. Corn planters break. Seed skips, pops, trouble from start to finish. You wake up in the morning and somehow your clutches don't work on your seed planter and you didn't put any fertilizer in the fucking row because you know what? You can't see, liquid going down in a tank you're pulling and you just planted 150 acres and your tank is still full because something malfunctioned. I mean, this shit happens on a daily basis. So you keep watching the other guys and get all your positive stuff and then come to the channel that tells you that with all the positive stuff that is happening on their farms, there's two negatives that happen that they're not showing. I mean, when Zach filmed the truck rolling away, I mean, I'm pretty sure he filmed that the truck rolled a little bit. Something had happened. It rolled. Nobody got hurt, which I thought was great because it showed that shit can happen on their farms as well as others. I had a truck roll away. Some douchebag came from the side of the road, parked, came out, pushed the air brake on my L8000 and ran a truck down the hill. You know, that happened. That really happened. So things do happen on these guys' farms. But I want to read my response to Mr. MathDJ01. And here it is. I'm sure you guys can read it too. It said, this is what I said. So you want the refined rainbows and unicorn. And the refined part is, it's not a dig at Zach from the Millennial Farmer. It's just, he told me that I'm not as refined, which cracks me up because you're right. I'm in your fucking face. I don't care. I'm 46 years old. What the fuck do I care for? What do I have to lose if I tell you how it is, or if I if you do this and this and this, you'll have success. But that's not always the way it works because you have the weather. The weather you can do everything right from start to finish and have a bad weather event and your corn crop's shit. Right, shit. So I'm going to focus on the negative so that people know going into it that even though you can be a good, successful farmer, I can tell you I'm a successful farmer. And I show the pitfalls because that's what happens. And you can't just, if I only showed the good stuff that happened to me, everybody would be, wow, that guy, he's spot on, perfect, man. He's successful and nothing bad ever happens to him. Well, let me tell you. I wake up in the morning and bad shit happens to me. I stub my toe. That's bad. It just happens. So anyways, let me read this. So you want the refined rainbows and unicorn version. I'm telling you the truth, just as you stated in the corruption and greed. And the corruption and greed is something the other channels refuse to post because they don't handle the negativity they can't handle the negativity that it generates. And yes, I get negativity. I have skin like a rhinoceros, for Christ's sakes. I get more criticisms personally from emails and text messages and phone calls to my personal telephone right here, this thing. I guarantee you they don't get any of that stuff. I know they don't. I have wicked, nasty trolls. And some of these wicked, nasty trolls, they're too cowardly to put it up on the comments section because if they do, they get crucified by my loyal subscribers. And, which is fine. I kind of like to let those subscribers take care of my business at times too. Sometimes I get like the Elm Custom Harvesting guy. I've blocked him now. He's done. He's out of here. I don't ever want to talk to the guy again. And that's fine. He doesn't need to be on my channel. I don't go to his. I don't want him on mine. So I ended up blocking him. I voluntarily don't go to his. I just don't need to. I don't like what he posts. I can't stand it. All right? That's just me. Doesn't mean that people don't enjoy his stuff. I just don't enjoy his stuff. And I, as an American, can say, you know what? I don't like his stuff. I'm not going to complain. I'm just not going to... Ooh. Okay. Anyway, all right. The truth is, farming is a hard life that requires a sharp person to understand it. It's not an easy go, as the other two channels you mentioned make it look like. Fact is, I read a lot. I study a lot, but I don't write down notes. I wish I had in this case, but it's simple business research will reveal the address for the top recipient of the subsidies from the government. I never got a response from MathDJ01 because I'm pretty sure he just, I don't know, decided not to respond. He already posted where the facts come from right there. It's in blue. You can click on it, and it goes right to it. I'm going to do that right now that this video is getting quite long. Okay. Nappy, Farmington, New Mexico. All right. You want to know how much money those guys got? $2.83 million in 2017. Yes. So you go to Nappy. And they started farming in 95. About the same time I have. Right? In 2010, they received nothing, which didn't make any sense. But 2011, they got $1.149804 million. In total, from 1995 to 2017, get this, $25,777,555. That's what they got. Now, that was all on, there was commodity subsidies, which was broken down into a line. There are disaster subsidies. The disaster subsidies, the commodity subsidies were $23 million. The disaster subsidies was $1 million. The conservation subsidies were was $1.3 million. And that's just one person. This is just one group. So let me go back. Now, DNRC Trust Land Management, Helena, Montana. You'll love this. Nothing. They get nothing until the group, it is a group, started in 2013. Since 2013, their total, where is their total? $6,452,000 since 2013. We're talking 5 years. Over $1 million a year. Now, that money goes to Helena, right? Helena, is that where it is? That is their office. Their office is in Helena, Montana. Okay, so their office is in Helena, Montana, but their farms or their farming operations in Beaverhead County, Bighorn County, Blaine County, Broadwater County, Carbon County, Carter County, Cascade County, Chateau County, Custer County, Daniels County, Dawson County, but the money all went to Helena, Montana. So that group has their office of lawyers or whatever they have in Helena. And that is my proof. It's right there. He had already provided that information. Here's Gertson Family Farms Partnership. Yeah. Here's another one. So they've been farming for a while. 1995 is the earliest that this goes back. And $14,851,000. All right. Let's see, where does that money go to? I think that's Galveston, right? Lessie, Texas. Okay. So the city or town of Lessie, Texas has an office where they are. And then you get Colorado County, Wharton County, Unknown County, and Fort Bend County in Texas. So they got all these counties where they have their farms, but their office is in those cities. So that's what I was talking about and I'm actually quite surprised because the last time I looked at this thing has probably been about 10 years ago. And now, of course I'm looking at it, today. It's probably been about 10 years ago. And they do have, here's Louisiana, they're all over the place. Los Angeles right there. Yeah, there you go. But anyway, that's okay. I'm okay with it. I think the proof was proven right then and there. And now, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call it quits for the day because I have things that I need to do. I have work to do. I got Bull Bear is coming to pick up a load of hay, and also Carl. So that's just the way it's got to get done. I got to go pull tarps off. So thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe for more. If you like this one, give it a thumbs up. Oh, no, if you're a farmer, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a farmer, give it a thumbs down. Then I'll know the ratio.